website, but it's like a website where you can share a large file. I'll put it on mine, put it on YouTube and stuff. But I know since I'm on
Okay.
yours, you'll only have the option to download it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was getting ready to press record anyway. I have a screen recorder, so I was gonna
Oh,
record
well,
it.
let me do that too. Oh, girl, you young folks are so smart. Let me see, girl.
So turn your screen recorder on. That's I always let my guests know before I do it, but now you know, so I'm about to start recording anyway. 3, 2, 1. I got to count
There
down.
we
Bam.
go.
Record. All right.
Okay,
So
do your
welcome
intro again.
everyone.
Do your intro again.
Okay. I am woman, the conversation. Let's talk. All right. So today I am super, super, super excited, y'all. Listen, I've been trying to get this famous person to come and talk with
Ah,
me for so long. She's so famous, y'all, that her schedule is so packed that
child, booked for the
she
year.
booked for years. Okay, we booked around here. She's booked, and I was super excited to be able to have her as a guest today, y'all. When I'm telling you the amazing mom, the amazing momager, the amazing wife, the amazing wifager, um, baker, cook,
Baby.
uh, book cover, photo girl.
Right.
Uh, you got a lot on your little resume,
I
and
do.
she's a
When I hear
comedian,
you
y'all.
say it, yeah.
And on top of that, y'all, she's a comedian. I mean, and she does everything she does in life. She handles it all with grace, and she tries to make you laugh along the way, even when she's crying. So the amazing Miss Kat, or Catherine, if you want to be fancy, Miss Branchman. Y'all give us some love. Give us
Oh,
some
that was
love.
so nice. Thank you, thank you. What's going on, girl? I
Listen.
appreciate that generous introduction, child, because this lockdown got everybody just reevaluating their life. Like, what am I doing? Just so thank you for
Right.
reminding me. I
Listen,
am somebody.
you are somebody. I think a lot of moms, they call them BS. I'm not gonna do the acronym. Black stay-at-home moms. There's a whole group. There's a whole hashtag about Black stay-at-home moms, and I think that it's just so crazy that during this time, we at moms in general are just like, who am I? What do I have
Yeah.
going on? I have these kids, like, figuring out our identity and where we belong and what we want to do. I mean, but you, on the other hand, you are taking apartment complexes by storm. You are managing, you know what I'm saying? You are making big moves, laying in fields of money, you know what I'm saying? And making things happen. This photo shoot you just did just blew my mind. I was like, this is some
That,
iPhone stuff right here. This is iPhone material for sure. So,
thank you. Thank
but
you. You know what? It's one of the things where I'm a big fan of using what you got to do something. Because I think just how I grew up, we always had to figure it out. So and it also has contributed to my jump off the cliff mentality. I'm the person who, I don't wait for the cart and the business license. I'm gonna take this bag of lemons and this hose water and try this lemonade out. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes the Lord be like, slow down. But just to be encouragement to other people, like you ain't never gonna have your ducks in a row. The ducks don't never line up right. So yes,
right.
child,
And
lay it
just keep
out,
going until
flowers.
what you say, just keep going until the ancestors whisper, that's enough. I love that
That's
when you said
enough.
that.
Have to see, or your knees do, because I'm in my 30s
Right.
now, and I sure can tell I'm not no spring chicken no more.
Whoop, whoop. Yes, we all love that song. We both are
Right.
graduates from Alabama State. But some of the things that we want to talk about tonight are just, so important for moms, so important for entrepreneurs, so important for people, human beings in general, just how we are surviving right now during this time. Um,
Yeah.
and not even just focus on the pandemic. Obviously, the pandemic is at the forefront of everybody's mind, but just
Yeah.
figuring out ways to make it through. They say you know, going into a storm, in a storm, or coming out of a storm. So tell people a little bit, Kat, about your clouds, your storms, and how you are where you are today. Like what those situations have looked like going in right now or coming out. Like where are you right now?
I think for me, I've always been multi-layered. I think one of my gifts is that I'm a strategist and I see things from all different angles. And so I think we have surface level storms, and then we have these deep rooted, deep seated. I don't want to say poor connection. Okay, there we go. um, these deep-rooted storms that happen that we are continually going in and coming out and uncovering. So I think, like you said, coronavirus, surface level, you know, money issues, who am I, my career, what am I going to do, what can I be doing in downtime. I think that's where a lot of us are, especially me. You know, I think I've been very blessed health wise, amazing beautiful marriage, healthy children, you know, ministry life is cool, but my career never has been peaked. So that's kind of probably my surface level. Deep rooted storm has been, you know, the loss of the two babies in the last year, and then popping up pregnant, so not really having the chance to recover from that, having complications with this one, and then also now we need a house. Like, Lord, I need, you know, a couple $100,000. So, you know, it's managing where you are in the storm, and then giving yourself permission to be like, hey, it's okay that you're bitter today. I think that's something I learned in the last 3 years, is that I've learned to give myself permission to not be okay. And when you're a doer, that's hard to do, because when you're a doer, you don't give yourself permission to do nothing but do. You can't feel.
Right. You got to be on the go all the time.
Exactly. I remember after I lost the second one, I heard a voice, and I don't know if it was the devil or me, but I heard a voice saying, "You alright? You ain't hurt that bad. It's people out there with worse problems." And I was like, "What is that?" You know, and I could trace it all the way back to slavery. I'm pretty sure. But for my
Mm-hmm.
individual life, that was a really hard storm to muster, because it's like, you're not okay. But what is that in you that's trying to make you okay? And so, and then you got to be okay with the fact that that voice is there. You can't lie and say you don't hear it. So that sounds like a lot, but that's how my brain works. So it's constantly firing off, and then you got to make dinner, and then everybody wear bathing suits because the laundry ain't done. And you know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, girl. So I think that just being okay with not being okay, and now we ain't got nothing but time to sort through it all.
Hello. Look at all this time we got on our hands. I think for some people, time is a disaster. And what I mean by that is, people who are biblical or faith based, they'll say, an idle mind is the devil's playground. And when you
Yes.
have all of this, time, when you have so much open space in the world and in your mind, what's happening there? When you
Yes.
have this place, for some people that can almost feel empty, this empty open space. What do we do with it? What do we fill ourselves with, and how do we fill that time?
Yes.
Um, that is so important, not just for moms, but that's man, woman, child. I mean,
Even
even
the
children, and
kids.
it's
Yes.
everybody. Even the kids are having anxiety. They're frustrated, dealing with school and their routine change. Children, and even adults are creatures of habit, and
Yes.
the routine has changed for everybody.
Yeah.
So, can you talk a little bit about, how your children are managing, or how you're helping your children manage in this particular situation?
I think for my household, and it's just because let me just first say I'm a natural extrovert and talker. So I wouldn't want anybody to hold on a second. You all right? Yeah. Okay, child, because you just all right. You walked in from the playtime with some stuff on your heart while I'm alive. Anyway, I think for my household, I'm a natural talker. So any relationship I've ever been in, friendship, let's chat, let's talk. So there's been this theme in my family since they were little of family meeting. Let's talk. How you feeling? What's wrong? Where we always had conversations about stuff. So as we transition from normal life to this, I think that it was always easy for the kids to vocalize anything, whether it was good, bad. This morning my daughter was like, "Hey, I scheduled out my week, and now I have a free day tomorrow." And I was like, "Wow, how does that feel?" And that was her giving me information. I didn't have to probe for it. So I think for our household, and it's definitely not making anybody feel a type of way, start the conversation. The family meeting ain't even got to be structured. It's when something going wrong with my daughter, will go, "We need to have a meeting. We need a meeting." You know what I'm saying? Not no, "Oh, we got to talk about some stuff." Meeting. So staying in touch with them. I know, like, my daughter has always expressed she misses school, and I mean, not just the friends, but the interaction and stuff. So I know I have to keep plugged in with
Right.
connection. There we go.
Mhm.
Keep plugged in with her. My son, he's 9, so he can ride his bike. He got a friend or two in our apartment complex. He's managing a little bit better. My husband is the one that's still
Right.
out trying to make moves and do stuff. So I'm checking in with him. And so, not to mention that I'm the pregnant one. So I would say for my household, it's just been a blessing that it always was something we were already doing. So you just keep on doing it.
Right. I think that one of the things that you said that's really important is, creating an environment or a space where your children are comfortable just being open, just
Yes.
feeling free to talk. I think many of us, our generations and generations before us, did not grow up in free households. You didn't grow up in a household where it was okay for you to talk and speak up. Children are meant to be silent. You be quiet for somebody to tell you to talk. You grow up in that kind of environment. And then when you get ready to do it with your children, it's hard to make the people around you adapt. I mean, to be honest,
Absolutely.
I have that type of environment that you're talking about my children, and they're one, four, about to be 5 and 6. And my daughter knows, people look at me crazy when they hear her say, Mommy, I'm frustrated, and she's sick. They're like, well, what does frustrated mean? And she can tell them, like, my emotions, like, I don't feel okay, something's not right. And that's
Right.
because that's the way I've taught them, But what about the people who are having that hard time adjusting because, they grew up not having freedom of speech, like I did. I got popped in the mouth several times,
I'm
okay?
with you. I'm
For,
part of that
for
graduating class as well.
right, from my mouthpiece, for my freedom of speech. It wasn't the time for it. But now that I'm in this season, even sometimes, what about people who, parents, grandparents, have issues with the way they're raising their kids? Can you
So
speak
that's
to
a
that a
really
little
good
bit?
question because I don't think enough people are open to the check-in. You know, I mean,
Hmm.
relationships, friendships, everybody should have a check-in. I know for people who are struggling, a great way to start this whole thing up is just so I'm a big fan of my house being functional. So you see, I have art back here, and then right next to it is a big ass sign I made that's laminated that say "Wash your hands." You know, like it don't need to be cute for nobody; it needs to be functional. So make a sign, and the sign says today I feel, and put 9 o'clock and 5 o'clock every day in this house. We don't know how to talk in this house, so everybody got to stop and answer today. How do I feel? Or I feel like, or today on a scale from 1 to 10, today was a different things that are just simple, and you start a discipline. I think that's a word I use all the time in my house with the kids is discipline and
I
consistency.
love that.
So, like, if you're having trouble or you're not a talker, even at your job, if you like, we need to create a better environment, put a question up. What color do you feel like today? It's no wrong answer. Today, I feel like,
Hmm.
whatever. I think that's a great place to start with people. A Likert scale, are you most likely to, how likely are you to pop off today? This, how likely is the kid likely to get a whooping today? Somewhat, not
Right.
likely. So disagree, show we disagree.
Right.
But it's a great way
Right.
to, because I think that's what I've learned. Like Kat, like not everybody has a vocabulary or even the ability to be in touch with how they really feel, to put words to
Right.
it. So sometimes you got to help people. And kids love it, and you will be very surprised at how authentic and vulnerable a kid will be if you give them the
Yep. But one of the things that it's two things. One thing I thought about while you were talking, another thing. I took a parenting class a while back, and a part of the parenting class, it talked about how our children, just like adults, desire elements of control. But because we're their parents, we're always in control. We're always in charge, and a lot of their anxiety and frustration and irritation just comes from the lack of control they have being a child. So it's important just to kind of touch on that just a little bit to allow your child to have control over something. Ask them what they want versus telling them
yes,
all the time. Instead of, forcing them to do something. Hey, would you like to do this? Or would you like to do that? Even with school, my daughter is 6. They give them all these assignments that we have to work on every day, but then they still want them to sit online. I'm like, okay, you're not completing any of the assignments while you're sitting online. But then when she gets off after being on here with you for 2 hours, I still have to sit down with her to do this work. No, I started making it optional. Hey, baby girl, do you want to get online today? And she was like, no, mommy, I really don't. So, creating an opportunity for them to have a say so,
yes.
and be able to speak up. I wanted to make that note. And then, so this is what I thought about while you were talking that I want to go back to. You did something a while back that is just so important for our children. Can you tell the people a little bit about your family bank, the bank in your house, the importance of the finance, the children who understand the importance of a dollar, the importance of understanding money? Can you talk a little bit about your household bank?
So Branchman Banking came about because I was attempting to. I had a lunchbox in my room that I would have 2 envelopes in with their money, and the kids would always ask to purchase something or do something with the money, but they weren't keeping up with, you know, they weren't keeping up with their balances. And so I said, well, hell, how can they when all the money's in my room? And I mean, I had a piece of paper where they would write +5, -3. So one day, being my mother's daughter, I have all type of arts and crafts stuff. I sat down, got a board from Dollar Tree, decorated Branchman Banking, and you know, I remember. Do you remember? I don't know if in the South they have what is it called? A store called Lakeshore.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Because I'm like, they got to be national. I remember
The
my mom.
magazine with all that
Yes,
stuff in it.
okay.
Oh
Well, I
yeah,
remember my
that
mom.
stuff
She's
nice.
a daycare provider for my whole life, and so we would get the magazine, and I would sit and just be like, "Ooh, I would do that if I had." And I just know how it feels to have new toys and new things to interact with. So I made it. And Branchman Bacon just was a laminated sheet of paper that I made on Microsoft Word. Everybody had withdraw, deposit, balance, and when they would do a tour, they would get a deposit. The total would change with a dry erase marker, and then off to the side, they wanted to add earn $2. Did you sweep? You better take that job, sweep, and then I would pay you. And then at the very bottom, they had a loan application, and the loan application was for anything that was like above like 25 or 50 bucks, and it was explaining interest and all that other stuff. And so it for a while we kept up with it, then we kind of fell off, but it started the conversation of looking at your money, watching it build, being excited. I remember most of the time your little one tried to take the loans out. Like, yeah, I think I need a loan for about $250, and I'm like, my office hours are over here, and we're gonna have to discuss that loan because you ain't got no money to pay me back. You ain't got no job. So, and people were hitting me up like, you need to patent it and blah blah blah. And I just wasn't in a space to dig into it because I'm learning everything
Right.
that's great in God. So I'm not looking for my $1 million idea.
Ooh, time out.
Come on.
Mm-mm.
Take time.
Time out. Say it again.
Come on.
Say that
Let me
again.
say, I am the person who was selling soap, bread, cakes, dinners, okay, motivational speeches, printed books. I've been the person looking for the $1 million idea. And
I
God
call
just
it a
said,
serial entrepreneur.
it is. And and I'm talented, so I get it. I'm working the muscle. But God just did this. And I'm like, open the windows of heaven. And he's like, no, that ain't it. I think everything that comes to people that's good ain't God and great. So I just put it out there for people. People email me for the loan application. I will email them a copy, whatever. But I appreciate you bringing that up, though, because that's one of the things I had to pat myself on the back and say, maybe you don't have a house for your kids to play in, but you taught them finance in a fun way. That's a win. You know, you take your wins where you can.
Hey, listen, take the wins how you can as a mommy, because Lord knows we discourage ourselves every day. You know,
Boom.
I preach to my people that I consult for and things like that, the importance of affirmation and affirming yourself, because what you tell
Yes.
yourself you are is what you are. If you wake up in the morning and be like, oh, I'm so annoyed, today's gonna be a terrible day. It sure will be.
Sure will.
You know, you got to learn how to write that stuff down and put how you don't put how you want to feel on paper and read it every day.
And you know what? I
Because
think for people who are um, dealing with depression, I think that who don't admit it, who don't acknowledge, hey, I think I'm in this weird space, they hear stuff like that and they get so defensive or frustrated. Like, you want me to be positive, but look at, and it's just like, it's this fight against that type of positive thinking and mindset. And coming,
yeah,
because that was me. That was me. When I was going through, I would hear people say, be positive and what you put out there. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. Not realizing, oh, my heart is hardened. So nothing positive can come in. I got to work on breaking that up first. And so I think that's really good that you mentioned, just saying, right, today's going to be a good day, and try to work on letting that penetrate. Because if you can't get that, then what you watching TD Jakes for? With your evil self. Ain't none of that going to penetrate. Anyway.
my.
So
Come on, Pastor Branchman.
I'm just
Come
saying,
on, Pastor Branchman.
save some of them 5G wattages for the kids' Wi-Fi, because you ain't getting none of that message. It ain't penetrating. And I know I remember being so sad, I just said, God, I'm so broken. You got to fix me. It ain't a message.
Yes.
It's not a prayer. It's not a fasting spirit. It's not a song that I could play. You have to fix me, because I was just, you know, like broken rubble, China,
Wow.
in the palm of his hand.
Right. But
Okay. Okay.
yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
But I think that it's so important for that you said that, because some people are, unfortunately, women like you and me are the first ones to not admit that they have a problem. I remember struggling through my own personal issues after having children, after a miscarriage, after losing a child. I mean, people don't understand the weight, how long you carry that, like how long you carry that with you, and the nervousness you have the next time you get pregnant, or the nervousness you have once you have the children. I won't be a good mom. How can I raise a child? What am I supposed to do? It doesn't come with a manual. And I think so many women walk around depressed, especially dealing with postpartum after
Oh
they had
yes.
children. And people are like, well, how long can postpartum last? I don't care if your child is 12. If you've never addressed age one, if you didn't address age one, you probably still got the same problem they had at age one that you have now that your child is 12.
You
If
in
you don't
survival
address
mode.
the issues,
Absolutely.
yeah, if you're not addressing the issues, if you're not tending to the garden, if you're not turning the soil, the plant will still die. It's just it's so much there, y'all. That's a whole nother live. I can't
It
even
is.
I can't
We'll
even
do
get
that on
into
part
that.
two. That's really good. You right.
That's a whole nother. But the other element that I want to get into, because it's so significant right now, is the marriage. Um, people who marriage is something that people think is easy. People think it is so beautiful to have these. I mean, I love it though. I love all the little engagement videos and pictures, and people who have these elaborate, beautiful weddings. They are absolutely fantastic. But how long are you staying married? How are you holding your marriage together? What is it that is creating, the stability in your family? And for those of you who are coming in, I am with Kat Branchman, mother, wife, comedian, rock star. And we've gone through a couple of different things. So feel
Yeah.
free, once we end, to go back. But right now we're in marriage. We're talking about marriage, and even not in marriage, just in relationships in general. The importance of understanding what it takes to lay a proper foundation for marriage. Talk
Yes.
a little bit about,
Yes.
your marriage and what you and your husband are doing. What's good, good, bad, ugly. Just go ahead and let
Yes.
the people have it.
So,
Go
so,
ahead.
so shout out to Jigglebot, said they getting married in a couple of weeks. Well, grab a pen, okay? Let me help you get it good.
Yes,
Let me help you for the
baby.
first
I've been
time.
married. Kat, how long you been married?
I've been married 11 years.
Okay, and I have been married 8. So,
So
baby
we
girl, make
got a
sure you have a
little, we
pen.
know something. We
Make
know
sure
what
you
things.
got a pen and a pad. Okay, pen and a
So I'm gonna
notepad. Go
say,
ahead and let the people have it.
so here's the basis, and this could be for any relationship, but of course a marriage. When you get with somebody, you need to be very clear on your value system. A word I use a lot, even in my house, my kids know what I mean, my husband, is cognitive dissonance. It's the idea that somebody has a value system, you have a belief about something, but what you're
Yes.
doing is not lining up with what you say you believe. Okay, here's another. People like to throw the word hypocrite around. Well, a hypocrite is somebody who says, I believe this, I believe it, and do the opposite. So,
Hold on one second, Kat. You buffering. Hold on. Let's,
okay, can y'all
oh,
hear me?
I don't want to lose her. Okay, now, yes, go back. The last thing we heard was cognitive dissonance. Go ahead.
Okay. So, people having a value system or belief about something, but what you do doesn't add up. So, in your marriage, you want to build a strong foundation. Get very clear, forget your partner, on what you say you believe. What do you believe? And it's like, well, where do I start, Kat? Well, let's start about what's the top 5 things that are important to you. Honesty. So you believe your partner and you should be honest about how you feel and what you want. Cool. What's the next thing? Loyalty. Okay, what does that mean to you? Because some of y'all ain't picked up Webster's in here. You just a made up damn definition. What does loyalty mean to you?
Right, Right.
Okay, so I'm just throwing stuff out there. Let's just say physical attraction. I really have a value system on being attracted to somebody and trying to look my best when I can. Like, so just writing down what you believe. Let your partner do it. Then y'all sit down and talk about it. Because here's the hilarious thing about marriage. All that shit gonna change in a year, okay? Because you saying, because you're changing. So what happens is you get in a relationship, you're not clear on what's important to you. You get in meaningless arguments because really you're emotionally hurt and you didn't even know what you believed in, but you're triggered. So they're really arguing with your 9-year-old self because your ass never went to therapy about that. Come on, somebody. You got other people in your ear. You don't have a strong spiritual relationship, and now you're in this storm. And you're going and you're coming. The person you look at and said, hey, Lord, you hear me? I vow to be number one in their life and number one in my life. And I make a promise to you, a covenant, because we don't want to talk about what marriage really is. That's fine.
Come on.
You sit here now and you're ready to walk out. So please be very clear on what you believe, what they believe. Be open to change. And I think, honestly, just like you said, I wish there was another word, but marriage is hard, not because the doing is hard. It's the fighting of getting up and walking out because you're uncomfortable. And it's like, I'm trying to think, it's like something you get into. It's like getting on a ride that goes up really high. When you're at a carnival, you can cover your mouth and wave your hand, and they'll see you and stop the ride. But some rides at Six Flags, this don't mean nothing when you 100 feet in the air. Oh, you gonna hit that? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to ride the ride. And so I would strongly encourage everybody getting married, please be very clear on what you believe. I mean, even if it's embarrassing, here's a great one. Some people are dealing with childhood trauma, whether it's mental abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, verbal abuse. You got to be very clear on the fact that you're probably in a space where you've been surviving, and you deal with dysfunctional ways, and give your partner permission to say, hey, I love you, but when I hug you, you cringe, or you get uncomfortable around some of my female friends, and I grew up around all girl cousins, and you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I'm just ranting because you done got me hyped, child. Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Part 3 and 4 because they don't want to.
This is good. Let me tell you something. You know, I am a minister, and I am licensed to marry people. I have done marriage counseling. Let me tell you something.
Tell them.
I have a pillar. I have a foundational set of pillars, and all of my counseling sessions. I do 8 sessions before I marry somebody. My 5 foundational sessions: mental, physical, emotional, financial, and spiritual development. That foundation right there, you have to have a solid foundation mentally. People like Ebony, mentally and emotionally, it's the same thing. No, it's not. It's two totally different things. Your mental space and the emotions you use within that space are 2 totally different things. And understanding those elements for yourself before you bring somebody in that space to try and love you when you're not really sure how you define love or how you define being with someone else. If you can't define love, if you can't define what that means to you, how you want somebody else to love you, oh, it's so much. Okay, you are right. That's a part 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But
it's good. And let me say this for people who are not married, you know, it's always like, well, what can I be doing? I think one of the most beautiful things that God, He covered me in land because we were able to find out more about ourselves within the marriage. So if you're not married and you in your 30s, that's okay. Figure out some more about yourself. Because when I'm 33. I've been married 11 years. I think I finally admitted a week ago I'm stubborn. My best friend husband was like, oh, tell us more. I was like, oh, I think I got a problem. I think I'm stubborn. I ain't never, and it was like, I had to wait for me to be even open to hear it. And it's like, wow, I got married at 21, 22 or something like that. Like, oh man.
And
like,
you have changed.
So, you know,
We have changed.
We've changed, and you know, it's just like I know what it looks like because when you're on the outside, so I'm the person with the career dreams. Like when my career takes off, so I'm looking like the grass is greener. But it's people whose career is popping right now, who are in my DMs, who talk to me, who just say, I can't wait to have a family like that, a relationship like that. So I have to keep that in my mind. Like everybody is somewhere working on something. So I just encourage anybody single, or if you married or you dating or you looking, know you're crazy. Everybody crazy. At least know it. Damn.
And be willing to accept that. I think so many times we're in denial about who we are and about the things that we've gone through in life. I mean, my husband and I have been married 8 years, and guess what? We change every year. You know, you know, we retake the love language test every year
Yeah.
because you think you know your love language, but guess what? After some trauma has occurred in your life, your love language may change.
It sure
And it don't
will.
even necessarily have to be trauma. As you grow older, as your
Yes.
point of view and your perspectives change, you know, your love language when you was 21 might have been gifts because you might have been about the money and the
Or
coin
you
and
was
all of that.
poor.
But the older you get,
Okay, you said I ain't never seen nothing nice like this, girl. For real. Now you grown
right,
and you're not easily impressed. I'm with you.
right,
I'm with you.
you're not easily impressed anymore, and so now your love language is acts of service. You want somebody that's going to, you know, wash the dishes or clean up the house real good for you or, you know what I'm saying, sit down and just talk with you. You have to understand the importance. One, marriage, relationship, and connection is like a credit card. And
Yes.
people like, Ebony, well, you charge, no, it's a revolving line of credit. You know what I'm saying? You charge it up, you got to pay it down. You charge it up, you got to pay it down. And then guess what? When you spend a little bit, so your spouse needs to know you're spending it. Because if they don't
Absolutely.
know if they don't know that that piece of you is gone, and you are not communicating about that element of you, then they spending money that they think they can spend their car declining. Okay,
Let
I'm
me give
sorry,
a
that might
great
have been too
example
deep
of
for
that.
somebody.
I think that's a great analogy, and I'm going to acknowledge it, and then I'll steal it next time because I think that is great what you just said. So I would say we took the love language test. Lance's, which is kind of most men, but was words of affirmation. He liked to be verbally affirmed. My love
Mhm.
language was serve me, wash the dishes, serve me, lotion my feet. I noticed that I was spending doing stuff for him, mouth shut, because in my mind it took something away from me to verbally affirm him. That's which came from being raised by a strong black woman, just
A
not black,
whole
let's be
nother
honest.
level.
So I'm swiping the card. Hey, I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, look what I bought you because I heard you like just doing and serving. That's not his love language. So I think that was a great example and a great way to explain it. Like, be sure you're telling them. So I had to stop and say, dang. And he was like, I don't feel love sometimes. And I'm like, all this stuff I do, boy,
But
all
you
this
loving him the way you like to be loved.
boo. So, and the same goes for him because he would tell me, this is back when I was 300 pounds and bigger. You're beautiful, you're sexy, you're desirable, you're amazing. That ain't my love language. Because, well, one, like you said, I went through therapy and I can hear that now. I couldn't hear that thing. So you want to show me you love me? Go sweep the porch. So that was great. I saw somebody say it. So, oh, okay, I see Chris has said
Yeah,
that.
she
But
did.
yeah,
She said, what is this? I want to read her comment. She said, situations change your love language. When my wife and I did not have kids, it was quality time. Now, after our son, her language is acts of service and quality time. That is very true.
boom.
There's a significant change and transition that happens once children are involved in the marriage. When you are just husband and wife and it's just the two of you, you can love on each other, in a whole nother Stella got your groove back kind of way.
Okay.
But now once you have children involved, it does change things. Now let me burst a few bubbles real quick. I'm gonna take a little time out and be real black for just a second. Let me explain something to you. If you are in marriage and the foundation of your marriage is the covenant that God created, your children do not come first. Your husband does. And then
I
again,
second
it's
that.
God, it's God, your husband, and then those kids. If you don't stop loving on your kids more than you loving on your husband, you're gonna have a problem. Let me tell you now, I'm gonna say it again. Stop loving on your kids more than you love on your husband, or you are going to have a problem. And vice versa. Dad, stop paying more attention to your daughter than you do to your wife, or you gonna have a problem. Okay? Tapping back in.
Let me just say every time I see that question or that on Instagram, I try to chime in a very non-confrontational way, and I think it's hard for some women.
I'm confrontational.
It's hard for them to hear it because they have men, so they feel like I have to keep me and mine safe. And I've been wronged by men or some men too. I've been wronged by a woman. My kids gonna always come first, and I think that's one of those parts where it's like it's a faith jump. Just like me starting a business, you getting married and being vulnerable to this person that you're supposed to submit to is very, very much a faith jump. It's a faith jump because it's
Right.
scary. And let me just free up some women that's watching. He gets it wrong sometimes. That's why you gotta trust God.
Yeah.
You gotta trust Him, because even in Him getting it
Right.
wrong, God will teach and bless everybody's situation. But it's I feel bad for women because they get so defensive and so offended when you say love your
They
husband,
do.
put him first. And baby, the problems that come 10, 20 years down the road, the conversations at the Thanksgiving you gonna have, because you ain't never loved me, Bertha. Like, oh Lord Jesus. So girl, yeah.
Right. Right. And I think it's unfortunate, that people do feel that way, that they think, it's a problem for, for us to put our husbands first. Now, don't get me wrong. Let me be very clear, because people's
Yeah.
like, oh, well, he's verbally abusive, or he's this, he's that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, there are disagreements that will come in marriage, and there are certain situations and things that will happen. I get that. I understand that. I'm talking about a man that is doing what he's supposed to be doing. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? My brother, he always put it this way. He's not doing what he can, he's doing what he has to care
Right.
for his family,
Right.
you know, within the means and the confines of the times that we live in. It would be great if every wife could be a stay-at-home mom, if that's what they wanted, but the times that we live in don't often allow for that. Most times we get placed into those situations. That's not necessarily the situation that we choose up front, because I was placed into that situation by
Yeah.
losing my job,
Yes.
but I don't want women to think, oh, I got to put him first, even though he's verbally abusive. No, no, that's not what we're saying. We're
Right.
saying that when you're in a relationship that is built on the solid foundation of who you all should be connected to, God, then you're putting God first and allowing Him to correct things in a manner that your husband is in tune with you, which is the next connection. That way, you are raising your children in the way that God desires.
Absolutely.
So,
And I would say too to Jigglebots, you commented, I understand it means as long as we're good as a unit, our child is good by default. And I would have to disagree with that line of thinking, because that's like saying as long as I put gas in my car, my oil light should be good. Like, it's a completely separate entity once that child
hmm
starts growing. When your children are little, 1 through 4, yes, I would say maybe it's good. Good environment, love, balance. But once that child starts developing a personality and a life outside of that home, you gotta check in with them too. You'd be very surprised how you think that's how a lot of parents miss over their children's depression and schoolyard tips, because everything was great and copacetic and you assumed it would trickle down. But you still gotta check in with the kid and carve out
yeah.
time, and that's why marriage is hard. Sorry. Okay, that's
Oh,
why
yeah.
having it can be challenging, because you got multiple people. Oh, he has a 4-year-old. So I would say you're at that peak right
Oh,
now. Then you
yeah.
about to start school.
Yeah.
You about to start getting the stories. So, I mean, I remember one day Jada came home. This boy spit on her. In my mind, I heard I gotta burn the school down because my baby's being abused. So that's what I heard. So,
Yes.
and my kids
Yes.
know, like I have a saying, if they come home and I tell them, make sure you can't handle it on your own, because I'm coming up there. And so my kids are really good communicating their needs. So I think that's really good. Like, just man, this marriage, this is a whole series, Ebony. Like, because I
I
want to see
know.
people married and happy and thriving and being able to come here for resources. But at the same time, girl, we
Listen.
fighting these awful narratives on TV and the radio
Yes.
and the internet of blacks don't
Yes.
get married, and people of color this, and young people, nobody getting married anymore. It's like that's a lot. We out here, we're pretty good, okay?
And we happy. And we happily
I'm
married.
genuinely
You know what I'm saying?
happy.
I love my husband.
I
You know what
like
I'm
the
saying?
guy.
He is
He's all
bomb.
right.
You know what I'm saying? He's all right. Now, some days I'll be mad at him. I mean, it's okay, but I'm not like leaving or nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't going nowhere.
I'm right. I'm just going in the
Going to the
kitchen making
living
me some
room.
ice cream or something.
There you go. Because I ain't got, look, this is about 1,000 square feet. I ain't got too many options, okay? For
Listen,
real, girl.
listen, listen. But I think that it's so important that I'm back. Sorry, I don't know what happened. I think it's important for people to understand, the importance of what it means. I heard he said he had a 4-year-old. I have a 4-year-old that's getting ready to turn 5. He's very articulate. and he's very in tune to what he wants. He's very stubborn. And if he doesn't want to do something, he's not going to do it. And so, for just a second, as we talk about parenting and how to parent children, my 4 year old, he has a mind of his own. If he does not want to do something, he's not going to do it. And that doesn't mean that every time he gets into that moment, I'm going to pull my belt out and it's time for a whipping because you don't want to do what I said do. Why not take the time to hear him? He said he doesn't want to do it. This is time for conversation. Okay, what is it about that you don't like about going to this place? Or why don't you want? Literally the other day, he told me he didn't want to go somewhere. And then like the next couple of days in a row, he told me he didn't want to ride with me to, I was going to like pick up the groceries or whatever, the grocery pickup and stuff. And finally he's like, Mommy, I don't want to leave the house because I don't want to get the virus. I don't want the COVID-19. And he's 4. So, understanding in this season that we are in the importance of parenting our children in a way that they have a voice. Talk a little bit about that, Kat.
I think I'm a great parent, and that's even hard for me to say because my fear has always been being a bad mom. Being a great parent came from being parented wrong, and I bless my mama's heart. Now that I'm older and I'm not as bitter, I'm like, I guess she did the best she could, But I'm like, how would I want to be treated? And I know for my children, parenting is hard because it makes you got to out-parent your kid. The belt is easy. Not all kids respond to the belt. Because I remember I was getting my ass whooped in my mind saying, you raggedy, because in my mind, I'm like, this not going to make me change. Some kids are that in tune with themselves. Like you said, your baby was very clear on whether or not he wanted to go. And as time went on, because you gave him time, then he expressed what was under that. He probably didn't have time to figure it out himself. Like, what? Maybe I'm nervous, So with my children, I have my son, his demeanor is very much me. And then I have my daughter, who's a little bit more like my husband. I'm shocked because I was like, oh, wow, kind of flip-flop. And, like you said, giving them the space. When disciplining the child, I think it's very important to sit and look at the root cause. Here's a great example I always give to people. My daughter has my mannerisms. She could be a little bit bossy. She's very articulate. She's very smart, and she fusses like me, and it drives me crazy because I'm like, is that what I sound like? So she had a bad habit of telling my 9-year-old, her little brother, what to do, right? This, that. So I was like, okay, I can't whoop her. Like, that's not going to change the behavior. So what I did was I said, you know what? Since you think you his mama, be his mama. Go. I made her cook it, make his plates, wash his dishes. Did your son put on lotion? Go tuck him in and read him a story. Oh, your son needs some socks and shoes. Go get his socks and shoes. You got to out-parent them until it became like, all right. So she still has the habit, but it's not as bad as it was years ago because I was able to, let's play this thing out. And that comes with patience. I think that a lot of our people, let me just speak for Black people, because, I'm pretty sure it's in Mexican and stuff like that, but I'm not Mexican. Our parents were very impatient with us. Very impatient. They ain't got time to parent like that. You know what I'm saying? So,
no, they were working.
And
you were raising yourself.
Yes.
Yep.
And so, with the babies, I'm like, I just take my time. And when I don't know, guess what? I got a best friend who deals with children and youth, who teaches abnormal psychology. I get on the phone and say, hey, I'm having a problem with this part of my parenting and I'm pissed off. What's up? And she'll say, ask this, this, and this. I go to now their daddy is a little more militant. He is from Montgomery, Alabama, and he tends to be very sold on the physical part. But what I also notice is a balance is necessary because my kids have learned mama just don't talk to us. And they'll be nodding, oh yeah, mom, right. And I'm thinking I'm getting through to them with my new millennial type parenting. Meanwhile, my husband like, yeah, do it again. Watch what happens. Like, and I'm just like, oh man. So I would have to say in my household, there's a balance. Yeah. I try to get away from it completely. And sometimes you do need something that scary to say, all right, let me shape up. And they kids.
Right.
You can only take so many games from them. We in a lockdown because they're not going to be bothering me all damn day. You know what I'm saying? So now they want to pay.
You take this tablet. What they supposed to do with me all day? I'm not
playing. If I play one more game of Goldfish, I'm gonna burn the house down. So yeah, I would just say for me.
Uno, mine's is Uno. I'm sick of.
And then when you finally do play, they want to pull out the draw 4 in the first round. Girl, I'll flip the whole table over. No, play with your daddy.
play with your daddy. I don't want to play
Yes.
anymore. I taught my kids. My kids know how to play dominoes.
Okay.
They
I taught mine.
four
I taught
and
mine how to
6. They
spades,
know
and
how to play
unfortunately,
dominoes.
now they want to play that all the time.
Yeah. They Papa taught them how to play dominoes. So I was like, oh, y'all remember how to play? Let's pull these out. I'm sick of Uno. I'm sick of honey. They want to play all the games that I'm tired of playing. They want to play the same games over and over again, and I'm sick of it.
I'm sick of it.
But
Yeah, I'm with you.
Kat, we have 10 minutes left. We have
Okay.
10 minutes left because I came on a few minutes early, and so Instagram will cut us off. From what I know, I haven't been cut off before because I usually remember, but I'm just trying to. I'm gonna tell you so we don't forget either while we running
And
our
we're
mouth.
and listen,
But
worst
we
come
have.
to worst, I just want you to know I'm free for the rest of the year. So if you want to chime back in
Uh,
and restart this engine, you can, because I'm just sitting watching the kids ride their bikes,
you
child.
look. You don't tell two serial entrepreneurs. Oh, this could be a part one.
We'll be
Whole new
back
flyer
next week.
artwork out tomorrow. Next
While you
week.
playing for real.
Woman Wednesdays.
Had that
Mm,
sounds. You sound like you got something
That's what this was before I started doing Tuesdays and Thursdays because God blessed me with so many guests before I could even get my flyer done.
there. Okay, okay. So you over there popping.
So, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna do one guest a week. I sent the thing out. I had 10 people send me a message back. I was like, wait. I wasn't ready.
Wow, that's what's
I
up,
wasn't
man.
ready. I had
I'm
to send
proud
it
of
to the
you.
graphic designer. I was like, hey, wait. Take that off the flyer. We're gonna have to do this because this isn't gonna work. So
And that's funny
blessings in
because you know
all
people,
shapes and
at least,
forms.
and you know you be so scared to even send that out, thinking nobody gonna say nothing. And look, you got you more the windows of heaven, more than you can hold. So
Hey, listen, and now I got a treat for them next month. So just pay attention. Watch out there now. But listen, I have greatly appreciated you just being what Pastor Michael Todd calls hot, humble, open, and transparent. You know what I'm
oh, that's
saying?
sweet. Thank you.
I love it because I think the biggest issue that so many women face in general and men, this is really the conversation isn't about just women. It's about people who deal with women. We deal with us, men deal with us.
Yeah.
So I think it's just so important for people to be raw and honest um, because it's so much that people are struggling with and they don't want to say anything, they don't want to tell anybody, and it's platforms like this where they get their freedom. I don't care. You were the person who told me, Ebony, it doesn't matter how many people are watching. You told me that. You was like, yeah, just go live. And then I was like, man, I can't do this. But
Do
then you
that.
got sick. We were doing something. I can't even remember what we was doing. And I
Yeah.
was like,
Oh
well,
yeah, we was
I,
girl.
I can't even remember what we was doing, but
We
we was
was
doing something. It was Bible
we
study
was
or
doing
something.
something.
We was doing Bible
Yeah.
study and prayer. We was doing Bible study and prayer,
That's
and
what.
you weren't
Dang.
feeling well, and everything happened. That was the season. Everything happened, and I was like, well, I got to keep it going. We done told the people we're gonna be here next week. Yeah, I was on there stir fry. All right, y'all.
I
Let me.
remember, yeah, because I was going back looking at the seasons, like now what she had put in that rice because the fried rice was looking good. I remember you sure did keep it going. You sure did.
I just said, Kat said it don't matter how many people watching. She said it don't matter how many
And you
people
know
watch.
what?
Just go.
It's one of it's even like how many likes you get on a post. Like I don't know, like when you doing something that's I'm gonna say connected to your purpose, because I think it's very hard just to put the nail on the hammer on the head nail the
Yeah,
hammer on the head of
yeah.
it's your purpose.
Right. This
There's
is
some
purpose. Dot dot.
Yeah, it's
Not
something
happy.
that like it fuels you, and if you start equating the likes and how many people watching with your gift, I've been there. I started feeling to hear somebody say, "Kat, y'all need a TV show, and you're this and you're that," and then you go and it's 3 people on live. You better give them a hell of a show because to whom much is given, much is required. So if he got 3, you better talk, preach, minister to the 3 like it's 3,000, and so I try to, like you said, be transparent about the fact that it do get hard because you be like, man, ain't nobody listening to me, ain't nobody really
Yeah.
out there, and then you be surprised you put something out,
Listen.
people show up, and
And
you
you
be like,
get surprised. I post something and I got one or two or three people who I was like, so Ebony, when are you going to do this? When are you going to do this? And I'm like, I don't know. When? The three questions I keep getting: when are you gonna write a book? When are you gonna do a conference? When are you gonna? I mean, I just y'all listen. I'm working
let
on
me
it
let me let me
slowly
say
but
this.
surely.
Well, we will both be speakers at each other's conference. Because when I tell you I get them same questions, and I'm like, can y'all just forward all these to him? Because I'm with you.
Forward
I
it to
just
the Lord. Send it to the Lord, please.
we with you, but that's a lot to try to manage when you don't even know where to
Yeah,
start. So I'm with you, girl.
yeah. But you guys, I appreciate y'all so much for tuning in. Me and Kat, we could keep talking, but I don't believe in the whole letting IG live cut you off because people don't come back. So I'm not, I'm not Kevin Hart, you know what I'm saying? It ain't coming back to
Right,
me, you know what I'm
right, right.
saying? So, but, I appreciate you, Kat. I think that it's so important that you have allowed God to place you in the space that you're in, where you humbly and freely share your truth, you know. And for those of you catching us right here at the end, joining us, hello, hello. This is Kat Branchman, amazing comedian, mom, rock star, and wife. And we have had an amazing conversation just about parenting, about motherhood, about being a wife, about relationships in general, the spiritual aspect of connecting all of those things together. And it has just been such an amazing conversation. I'm so full, Kat. I appreciate you,
We
man.
gotta do
Like
this again,
you put
man.
you put 3 cups of sugar in my Kool-Aid. You feel me? You know what I'm
This is why we
saying?
couldn't be neighbors, because the
Man.
kids will be eating late because I'm over there chatting, and one of my friends is on there, and the kids was like, "We hungry." We was still talking. It's just good for the soul, for the spirit
Yeah.
to connect with people, and then also to know you ain't crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
sometimes I
Right.
take for granted not everybody has a tribe or village to go to and do this with.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you for
Yeah.
having me on and thinking of me. You know what I'm saying, concerning this, because I mean, I really think that you, people like us, our future and success is attached to others. If God uses
Yeah.
others to bring about His will, so if you don't want to do this, then you don't want it. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you letting me
That's
come
it.
along, man.
Man, this has been good, man. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it myself.
Me
Um,
too. Me too. I watch myself. One tip for anybody that's willing to do this or do anything, you should be able to sit and watch yourself like it ain't yourself. I've been talking to myself like, say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, go watch yourself,
yeah,
because
that
it's
was
an out of body
good.
experience to be like, wow, God, you
Yeah.
use me. God be using people. I
Yeah.
better go watch how God be using
Yeah.
me.
Well, I appreciate you, man. Thank everybody so much for tuning in. We greatly appreciate you guys. I will definitely have to have Kat on for something different because we might have to do like a marriage talk, then a parenting talk.
Yeah,
Like we're gonna divide this up because it's too much. We can't give y'all an hour. It's just
it
not enough
is.
time for all these topics. It's just not. I
It's
feel
a
like we
lot.
rushed through some stuff. But I hope you had your pen and your pad, and we appreciate you. I'm not getting cut off. I love y'all. Thank you so much, Kat. And
You're
you
welcome,
guys will be able to
girl.
watch. You gonna be able to watch the playback. I'm gonna figure out a way to get it up. You feel
Let
me?
me know.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Bye.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay.